Greetings everyone, it's your boy the AntMAN here, back at you with another review. Who's ready to go deep with crime bosses and gangsters in the quiet streets of London? Well, I mean, when there's crime, there's not really much quiet, is there? The Getaway is an action-adventure open-world video game developed by Team Soho and published by Sony Computer Entertainment for the PlayStation 2. The game itself is inspired by multiple British gangster films, and from the music score to the locations you go to, it looks like it. In terms of the story, it focuses on two characters, each with their own plot settings. Mark Hammond, an ex-bank robber, and Frank Carter, a police officer in service with the Flying Squad, with both plots running parallel and intersecting before concluding in the finale of the game. On Mark's side, we learn that he's an ex-con who recently got released from prison. At the start of the game, he witnesses the kidnapping of his son Alex and the unintentional murder of his wife Susie. Mark then pursues his son's kidnappers, but is knocked out and brought before Charlie Jolson, the head of the blue-collar Bethnal Green mob. Charlie informs Mark that he is going to carry out Charlie's dirty work across town, like ambushing a prison transfer to spring Charlie's nephew, Crazy Jake Jolson, as well as instigating a gang war between the London-based Yardie Gang and Chinese Triad organization, and so much more. Mark also teams up with Jasmine, a woman who was present at the murder and kidnapping with the mob. She seems to have information on where Alex is, so he may be in luck. Meanwhile, Frank Carter is sent across London to respond to the chaos instigated by Mark, but his suspicions are aroused when he is placed on a convoy escort duty for Jake Jolson, which Mark successfully attacks. His superior, Clive McCormack, is secretly in partnership with Charlie Jolson and is a corrupt DCI. Carter will stop at nothing at taking down the Jolsons and will soon show us why he's the head of the Flying Squad. As you can see, this is a game that's pretty story-based, but also pretty memorable, charming, and one of the few open-world games that I know has its own identity. If you're wondering what I think about the look of the game, for the time, and I would argue even today, it still looks pretty solid. It's not by all means the best looking game, but it doesn't really seem all that unpolished or ugly to look at. I like that the game itself is set in London, which that concept alone is already pretty cool. Like most other open world games, The Getaway has so much to offer in terms of replay value and also free roam. The expanding of location all throughout the story makes it feel both cinematic and like an action-adventure game, which it is. From the Republican restaurant, to the police station, to the strip club, this game has a wide variety of locations with different energy and atmosphere. They deliver a great deal of both at the same time too, in story and gameplay. As for the characters, they're probably some of the most interesting ones I've ever known in gaming. Mark and Frank Carter are two awesome protagonists. I love how one is an ex-con and yet tries to be out of the game, but then is pulled back in when his son is kidnapped and wife is murdered. He's the type who doesn't take shit and knows his priorities. Same with Carter, although I think he's more of a badass. And why is that, you ask? For three reasons. 1, he has balls. 2, he doesn't care about what his enemies think of him. And 3, he's an honest cop. Seriously, I feel like police officers in real life should take notes from him. He believes in justice, but he also knows that things have a cost to them. He is just so damn cool. Jasmine is a good character too. I guess the somewhat femme fatale of the game? To her credit, she is pretty tough and street smart. Charlie Jolson makes for a good antagonist also, as well as McCormack. Jolson's nephew, Jake, is a total psycho, but don't tell him that. Otherwise, that dude is gonna hunt you down like a mad dog. The individual gangs all throughout the streets of London also have a lot of character and background to them, which to me is what makes them so interesting. From the Collins gang, which is the one that Mark used to run with, the Yardies, a group of Jamaicans led by a guy named Jamal, and a Chinese gang called the Triads. If anyone asked me what the name of each gang in the Getaway were, I'd be sure to name all of them right off the bat as I'm doing now. The soundtrack is pretty chill too. They give you the sense that you are in fact in a London gangster movie. From the horns to the bass drops to the pianos, this soundtrack is fire all the way through. Even the short stings that you hear before you start or fail a mission are pretty cool too. During Mark's campaign, you sneak into the police station to ice McCormack, and let me tell you, when I was younger, I can't tell you how many times my older brother lost on this part. Probably because you have to figure out when and where exactly to kill McCormack when you have the chance. Otherwise, the alarm in the station is going to set off, and cops are going to either arrest you or kill you. Also, speaking of past experiences, when I was younger, I would always call this game the quote-unquote bad word game. Yeah, I was quite the silly child, but I'm definitely not kidding when I say that this game is an underrated gem. A well-written story, great characters, banging music, and decent graphics that still hold up in my eyes. If I were to own a PS2 right now, man, you bet that I'll be playing this game over and over. It's just that damn good. No doubt about it. I give The Getaway a 10 out of 10. Thank you all so much for watching today's episode. Next time, we're going to revisit Andy's toys and see what adventures lies ahead for Sheriff Woody. Until then, here's your boy the Ant-Man signing off. Deuces, y'all!